All right. Welcome everybody. My name is Niraj Baheti. I'm one of the physical therapists on the team here for the thalassemia study. And this presentation video is to as part of your orientation. Um, so let's get right to it. The agenda today, I'm going to introduce the team real quick. Who will you be interacting with during the study? Review the study objectives. What is the study about? Talk about which equipment you will receive as a part of this, and also uh, I'm going to go over quite a bit about just exercise in general, what will be expected for from you during these 12 weeks of studies, and then at the end, who would be a point of contact if if you have any questions along the way. So um, let's talk about it real quick. Who is conducting the study and who will you meet with along the way. Dr. Ellen Fung, she's the main scientist on this from UCSF, and Dr. Vanessa Yingling, same thing. She's one of the main scientists on this study as well from Cal State East Bay. Study coordinator is Raquel Manzo. I am the physical therapist. Dr. Ashutosh Lal is a physician, in charge of thalassemia study here, and Rashawn is the nurse practitioner. Juliet Hager is the study assistant. Najim Balila, I believe, is the data analyst. And we have students from Cal State East Bay, Emily, Elena, Viviana, Jose, Mohit, and Gabe as well. In general, just big picture, why exercise? We know that strength training and aerobic training in general helps you to improve your mood, reduce your stress, obviously increase muscle mass and function, and reduce overall somatic pain as well. And all of these will also help to improve bone density and bone strength. And that is what is being studied as a part of this project, where you guys got tested before the 12 week, and then you're going to be tested towards the end as well. Maybe there's a one in the middle, but Dr. Ellen Fung would know more about that. Uh, in general, the recommendation by ACSM and CDC is to exercise for about 150 minutes per week um, at moderate intensity, and to do strengthening exercise 2 times a week for that, and using big muscle groups. And we'll talk about which muscle groups are involved as a part of this study. There are very specific exercises we want you to do. So you will all receive some equipment as a part of your the 12 weeks period of exercise. You'll get some hand weights. At any point, you'll have only one pair of hand weights. You'll start with 5 or 8 or so. But if they start to get easy, if you're like, hey, this is not heavy enough for me, the next time you come in, you can switch out for heavier weights. You will also be getting resistant bands, the tubing really with the handles from 15 to 20 pounds of weight for each one. But the thing to remember is that the resistance, the band, the tubing it's variable. So actually, the more you pull the band uh, or the shorter you make it, the more resistance there is compared to the dumbbells. 5 pounds is always 5 pounds. It doesn't change. You will also be getting some resistant bands here, which are more of a loop to be used by a couple of the leg exercises. And finally, you'll receive a Fitbit as well. Uh, Example of your daily log. So when your 12 weeks start, every single day you will get an email for your check-in, which is and I'm going to go over this with you real quick, but that has to be done every single day, even on the days you do not exercise. Okay, so hopefully you guys can still see my screen, but here is the sample of how the survey works. You will get this email. You just have to put your initials in. I'm going to put NB, and you just select today's date. Hopefully, you're doing it on a daily basis, so you don't have to go back and do it for any of them. But if you do, you can always choose the calendar option as well. But hopefully, you're doing it the same day. Now, the basic question is, did you exercise today? All right. Now, it's possible that you might choose, no, I did not exercise today. And again, there's no judgment over here, right? There could be few reasons why you may not exercise, and a lot of the reasons that are listed over here. Or it's possible that today is your rest day. Remember, you're not expected to exercise every day. The hope is that you're going to exercise, do aerobic exercise for 3 days per week. Um, sorry, for this, yeah, for 3 days per week, that would be aerobic exercise. And maybe that's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, something like that. And then strengthening exercises, the hope is that you guys are going to do that 2 days per week. And we'll talk about the details. So 3 + 2 is 5. So and there's 7 days a week. So it's possible that you might say, I did not exercise because today was a rest day. Or again, like I said, no judgment. You might be tired or not in the mood. You can select multiple. Um, but let's say I do choose that, hey, yes, I did aerobic exercise today. So what did you do? So we need information, right? What did you do? You walked with hills, did not walk without hills, or some other type of walking or hiking activity. You did jogging, or you played some sport today, basketball, racquetball, whatnot, or other. Those are options are like maybe you went salsa dancing. So that could be an example as well. Whatever you choose, we need to know how many minutes you did that. So you got to put a number in minutes. I did 30 minutes of salsa dancing, so there it is. I put that in there. But so that's just an example. But let's say today I did strengthening exercise actually. So if you did that, then you will be given a different set of menus. Uh, and as a part of strengthening exercise, you're required to do two exercise minimum. One of them is an upper body exercise, that's group A, and a lower body exercise, that's group B. You have to choose at least one from each of the category. You may choose more than one, um, but from each category, but you have to do at least one. So we make sure you sort of exercise your full body. Uh, so let's say I'm going to choose overhead press. I did overhead press and I did some planks, for example. All right. So you can see based on how many exercises I pick, it gives me more options, right? Because then we need to know for every single exercise, well, how many sets and reps did you do? So sets and reps, again, there's some really neat, sort of cues here to help you fill out the survey without having to think too much about it. As you're starting to work out, maybe you might do only 2 sets of 10 repetitions. So that's 2 sets of 10. But as you go longer and longer in the workout in your study, you might find yourself doing 3 sets. And then we need to know how much weight you used. If you did not use any weight, you put 0. Or if you use just a can of soup or bottle of water, that could be like 1 or 2 pounds. Um, then it's also possible. Or if you use a 5 or 10 pound weight, then you could put that as well. Same way, I chose 2 exercises, right? One on top, one here. Planks. How long did I do the planks? Well, first again, how many sets? How many times did I do it? I did, let's say, 3 sets of planks. And how long did I do it for? I'm going to say 30 seconds. Now, something to keep in mind as you're entering the weight here and also the seconds. Let's say I did 2 sets, right? So maybe the first set I did 10 repetitions, but the second set I only did 4 repetitions, for example. That doesn't quite make sense, but it's possible. You might do 4, or let's say you do 8. That's more of a realistic example. So I'm going to put 8 because indicate the lowest amount of repetitions. Same thing. If I did 3 planks, the first plank was 45 seconds, second plank was 45 seconds, but by the time the third plank came around, I got tired. I did only for 30 seconds, but I'm going to write 30 seconds, even though the first 2 were higher than that. So you got to write down whatever is the lowest number of repetitions that you did during each set. So what happens when I select this, the next page, it's going to ask me for some more additional questions. Basically, how did you feel when you did those exercise? And I'm going to go back here because I'm going to choose both. Like I did both exercise on the same day, and that can happen, right? So what did I say? I did salsa dancing for 30 minutes, and I did these strengthening exercises, right? So next page. So what's going on over here? So it's going to ask me, how did I feel? So first one here is aerobic exercise. Did I feel like it was no exertion, moderate, or maximal exertion? What's really neat is you can just sort of click on this slider scale to indicate how you felt. Let's say I'm like, oh, that was not a big deal. Strengthening exercise, I can say, oh, you know what, that was actually much bigger deal, sort of closer to maximum. Did you experience any pain? And if you say no, well, that's straightforward. There's nothing to report. But if you do say yes, hey, we want to know what's going on. So let's say for here, just for example, I did feel pain in my legs. Did it stop me from exercising? I'm going to say no. And what is my worst pain? Let's say about six or so. What is my least pain? And remember, these pains are levels are just during exercise, not afterwards. Okay. And then if I want to say anything more like, oh, I enjoyed the workout today. For example, I can put that in there and I submit it. Boom, I'm done. All right. Going back to our presentation. So that's how you fill out the survey. Remember, that is every single day. Okay. All right, exercise. Now, this is what we're asking you about, right? The exercise as well. This is the prescription. I mentioned it earlier. For aerobic exercise, we are hoping you're going to do that at least 3 days a week for 30 minutes every each day. You do the exercise. Strengthening exercise, on the other hand, is only 2 days a week. And make sure you have a rest between the days. So don't go back to back strengthening exercise. Leave a day in the middle. All right. Um, on the days you do strengthening exercise mentioned earlier, at least one upper body work exercise and one lower body. That's group A and group B, and I'll go over those again in a minute. Sorry, I keep doing that. Um, you will notice over the course of 12 weeks, you might be doing uh, longer duration of aerobic exercise because you are in better shape. From week 7, week 8, you might be in better shape than you were in week 1 or week 2, right? So that makes sense. Naturally, you might be able to do more. Same thing with the strengthening exercises. You might start with 2 sets of 10, but you might be able to do 3 sets of 10. You might notice that instead of using 5 pounds, you can use 10 pounds. So that is natural. Just let us know as you're changing those numbers and make sure you switch out those equipment as well. All right, so how do you start? Number one is review the videos. All right, you're gonna get this videos in the email. There will be a link to the exercise on the on YouTube playlist, and I'm gonna go over that here in a minute as well. Wear comfortable shoes, comfortable clothing. If you're not sure what type of shoes to wear, reach out to me and I can help out with that. Make sure you warm up a little bit, just for 5 minutes, walk around or ride a little bike or if you're someone who's used to exercising, maybe your warm up could be more like a jump rope or sorry, jumping jacks or something like that. And just an easy stretching of our upper body, kind of reaching overhead, side to side, or doing like arm circles and things like that. Same thing for the legs. You can swing your leg back and forth just to get yourself warmed up and stretched a little bit. And obviously, you need space, right? If you're outdoors, that's probably not a big deal, either in a park or a track or a gym. But if you're in your house or your apartment or your room, then you just have to make sure that you have sufficient space around you to work out. Okay. This is an important one. My muscles are sore. When should I be concerned? All right. So what's not acceptable, what like where you need to seek help or contact us is if you have after a workout, like you're feeling like sharp, stabbing, throbbing pain, or if you're doing a workout and you like felt a pull in your back or something like that, those are something that you should reach out to us, to me as well, uh, and so we can sort of guide you about it because it's again sharp, throbbing, stabbing pain, which is maybe not quite going away, and you might need some help, just some guidance around it. Um, and the pain level is pretty high, like at least 5 out of 10 or so. Compared to that, if you are feeling some general muscle soreness, say I did bicep curls, right, and my biceps are sore, my arms are sore, kind of 24 hours after I work out. That's called delayed onset muscle soreness. That's very common for your muscles to get in a delayed manner. So not right away. You might feel like a little tight right after the workout, but not like that soreness, but about 24 hours, and it can last up to 3 days actually, since the workout, where you might feel that muscle soreness, but it should gradually be reducing. That is normal, especially if you're not used to exercising, or even if you're used to exercising, but you like use a heavier weight than what you're used to normally performing, then that your muscle will get sore as well. And that is not concerned. Again, if you are concerned, you're more than welcome to reach out. Okay? Group A, upper body exercise, and Group B, lower body exercise. Remember, you have to do at least one exercise from each group here on the days you do work out. I'm going to just go over a couple examples here with you. Um, all right, so this is the Thal exercise playlist. There's only four over here, but by the time you actually see it, you're gonna see all of the exercises here. Let me just go over a couple ones with you. Over here, you can click on plank, for example. Um, and it's good. All the exercise have some basic tips on it, right? Like keep your body in a straight line, distribute your weight equally between your between your hands, keep your core engaged, and breathe normally. So those are all typical things to keep in mind, especially with the plank. And this also applies to push-ups. Is the wall plank where you have your hands up against the wall? That's going to be the easiest one. And as your hands go lower and lower and lower towards the ground, the exercise gets just naturally harder. Okay. So here, the student, she is holding, having her hands against the wall, and the exercise are going to feel fairly, at a lower level. But if, again, that no judgment here. Maybe that's your level you start off. But as you get better and stronger, more used to it, you might be at a lower incline. So instead of being on a wall, you might be on a kitchen counter or a couch or something like that. And so your hands are getting lower and lower towards the ground. That makes the exercise harder and harder. Okay. Now, when you're on the ground, you might do planks on your ground. And in this case, the student has her knees on the ground here, right? And so that is easier compared to the next level up would be where they would have their knees off the ground and they would have the feet on the ground instead. And as you can imagine, the exercise gets progressively harder. This is the one. And then also another level of progression is instead of having doing the plank on your hands, you might do it on your forearms instead. Personally, I find them about the same level of challenge, but some people do find this a little bit more challenging. Remember, when you're doing a plank, we're hoping that you're going to do at least 20 seconds, maybe all the way up to 60 seconds or longer, but hopefully at least 20 seconds. So if you start off with this one and you're like, yeah, man, I can't do 20 seconds, then start off with an easier one, right? Put your knees down or do a counter plank. All right, so that's an example of a plank, which is through your playlist. Um, the other one I want to go on your playlist is, let's see, the plank. I'm looking through my list here. Box jumps. I think that's something I want to talk about really quick. We don't have a video. I don't have a video to show you, but we don't want you to jump onto a box, for example. Okay. In fact, avoid using a box altogether because a lot of times they're not sturdy, they're not wide enough. Those plastic ones. But if you have a nice, like a set of stairs, like a nice step that's like concrete, pretty solid, about 6 to 10 inches tall or so. That would be a good one that you could use for this lower body exercise. And there are again variations of this. One variation is just stepping up and stepping down on the step, right? That's an easy one. Or you might use hold on to weights and then step up and step down. Now it also says box like step jumps. That would be, remember I said we don't want you to jump up, right? But you can step up and then jump down from that step. Uh, about 6 to 8 inches tall, 6 to 10 inches tall on both your feet simultaneously. Is what we recommend if you do want to do some sort of jumping exercise. Then that would be the one for you guys. Okay. All right, and then I also want to show you a low upper body workout here as well. And I think that's right there. Okay, I'm going to show an overhead press. Okay, that's the one I'm going to show. And over here, as the student is performing overhead press, which is, if you are able to see me, you're sort of pushing your hands overhead. That's why it's called overhead press. Now, I might not even use the resistance band or the tubing with the handle that the student is using. I might say, that's too hard for me right now. I'm going to just use my hands only, or maybe hold a ball of water, can of soup, something light, and do it with that. But when you feel ready, you could use the resistance band with the handles. And here you can see the student is doing it, uh, has the band hooked under her feet and then pushing up with their hands. And same way, if you notice here, now there's more band kind of under the feet and less in the hand, and that makes the exercise a little bit more challenging. Okay, this just froze. What happened? Come on now. Right, my exercise video just froze on me. Let me see if I can replay it. Sorry about that. There you go. That's working. In this case, the student is using two resistance bands at the same time. That is definitely much more challenging to do. And it's not playing the video again. Sorry, the videos are not playing, guys. Yeah, but that's all right. You will get the link to them. For some reason, they're not playing. We got the main part to the. All right. Where can you find the videos? Again, you will get the link in your daily email. Okay. That's a YouTube playlist. Aerobic exercise suggestion. All right. So what are the different possibilities? You could just be walking, again, on a treadmill or outdoors, hiking, or a mix of walk and jog. If you've never done that, I would start with, about walking for about 5 minutes and jogging for 2 minutes, and then slowly going to walking for 4 minutes and jogging for 2 minutes. Don't try to jog 30 minutes straight if you have never, not done it in a while or if you've never done it. But you can do that walk jog progression, or you're someone who is used to jogging and you might do jogging straight up, or there could be dancing or playing sports. Those are all, like basketball, racquetball, pickleball, anything that works for you. Those are all options. All right, and finally, what if you have questions? All right, if you have any questions related to the study itself, you're not sure what you're supposed to do now, maybe you're not supposed sure when you're supposed to come in next. Raquel is your point of contact over there. The email and phone number is here. If you have any questions with regards to exercise, or something doesn't feel right, your muscles are sore or something like that, you can also contact me for that. But that may fall under medical questions as well if you're like feeling sharp, stabby pain, things like that. But I'll talk. But for me, you can email me or also you can text me. You can call me, but if you do, then leave a voicemail, because if it's an unknown number and there's no voicemail, it could be spam, so I'm not likely to call back. But you could text me, or if you leave a voicemail, then I'll pay attention as well. But and then medical questions, if you're having some aches or pains or increased soreness or sharp stabby pain or something doesn't feel right, your body's not responding well to workout, then make sure you contact the registered nurse who's on the study. But if it is anything emergent, okay, like an emergency, then where you're concerned about your life, then you have to absolutely call 911 in that case. Okay. All right, I'm going to stop the share here, and hopefully this works this time. All right, well, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out, and good luck.